Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hello! We are back in Cities Skylines, and we are going to be doing the scenario Trains. However, this is also going to serve dual purpose as a second tutorial of how to start a city. And when I say that, I mean how to start a city the functional way. We're not necessarily talking about future planning. And the reason I say that is the difficult part of this scenario is actually the first two losing conditions. We lose the game if we have under 1,000 population within 20 game weeks. So it's a race for people, essentially. There might be some similarities to this with the Horky Borky challenge set by Biffa. Our second losing milestone is if we play 150 game weeks with a population under 12,000. So again, this is just a race for people within a time constraint. And finally, we lose the game if we have less than 0 money. So, the first part of this challenge is how to build a functional city without running out of money. Once we've done that, the fun part of the scenario, construct 210 instances of train tracks and have 200,000 people transported using the train. So, that's what we're going to be doing. When it comes to starting a city, we have 3 main concerns. Well, technically 4. We have a road in and a road out. They have to both be connected in order to let people in and out. That's kind of one thing rolled into 2. We must have an electricity supply, and we must have a water supply. And unless you are a complete beginner at the game, at this stage you know that all your roads are currently blanked off, with the exception of one, until you place a teeny tiny little scrot of road just like that. And then all of a sudden we get the one-way roads opened up, we get the dirt roads, we get the avenues, more still unlock over time. But your first challenge is place a wee ball-bag bit of road and the rest open up. You can delete it, what you've unlocked still stays unlocked. Second of all, at this stage, if you're just building for people, you don't need to care about your traffic. Not yet. So, we can just take the dirt road, link both of those up, and link all the way down here. It does not matter one jot that is unattractive. It does not matter that it is inefficient. With the number of cars we're going to be getting at this stage of the game, that is fine. Next, we mentioned water and electricity. We'll do water first because the water has a current, which is not showing me. That's because I need the right view. You will notice this water comes right to left. There are 2 parts of water. Water intake, in the form of the water pumping station, and we have an output in the form of a water drain pipe. The intake you want to be clean, the output you want, you don't want it to be minging, it will be minging. So you want to put your input further upstream than your output. We don't need to educate people on what happens to water that essentially gets flushed away. To complete the water, we have to link them with pipes, and you also have to cover the roads that you wish to build on. If you want to make your pipes very efficient, come out 440 before you add in the new pipe, and that is sort of the accepted maximum coverage for your pipes. So that is one way to prevent yourself wasting a little bit of money by putting pipes where you don't need to put pipes. And we can fairly well assume that we're going to fill all this area in once we get up to, what was it again? 12,000 people. So that is water and roads. Next, we need power. Now you can put power in terms of wind power. However, by the time you get 2 or 3 milestones in, you're going to need around about 7 to 12 of these things, depending on how you've placed them. The other option you can do is just build a coal power plant. And you have to be somewhat sensible where you place it. This needs supplied with coal, which means you want trucks to be able to access it quite quickly and freely, so having it by a highway is a bonus. Something you do not want to do is put it around about your water input or your water pumping station. The reason for that is, we've already mentioned, dirty water comes out here, or another way to say that is polluted water. A coal power plant also creates pollution, and you want to keep pollution away from the clean water that you want to suck up for your Sims to drink. So we're not going to put it anywhere near there. You could group the dirty areas together, that would be fine. However, I'm going to place this very close to the highway so that it gets the access as discussed earlier. Now we're not full of power yet because the power source is up here. The things that need powered are the utilities, the buildings, the houses, whatever we are going to build. So we take this here, the power lines, we link them up. Again, it can be as rough or as neat as your own preferences allow. This is a scenario, this isn't a city in which we are going for beautification. One of those is coming. So there we go. Everything is hooked up with electricity and water and roads. That's all you need. Right? Right. Although you still have to assign where people are allowed to zone. I'm going to have a quick glance at my money, and we're going to put in just one other road. Going to make it a little bit neat. That's not wasted too much money, and unlike my Biffa challenges, I am going to put in some crossroads. Maybe one more down this end. So, where do you allow each thing to be built? Well, we have here our industrial. Similar to the power station, it is beneficial to be kept by the highway or by a dirty area, and it is not beneficial for it to be put next to a clean water source. So we are going to allow industrial to be placed in this sector. In terms of residential, you don't want it to be next to the dirty area. This doesn't cause dirty land, it only causes dirty water, so it's okay-ish for residential to be near or nearish that. Residential also likes being near waterside. What you don't want to do is live next to a dirty industry area. So we will allow a big buffer in the middle. Next, you have shops or commercial. Same thing really. They don't mind being close to the dirty industry, and it's also quite useful so that the products produced here can be transported to the shops and vice versa. And that should be all you need to start a city. Providing I press play now, people should move in. There's a buffer of money so that I fulfill my non-losing condition of having less than 0 money. And that is it. Some people, I think, struggle with the first milestone. It can be the hardest, especially if you're a new player and you've not quite figured all this out yet, but that is how you start a city. We hit play. You can even go to 3 speed if we want to. And you'll notice nothing is complaining. That said, you will notice it is only the residential building in first. The reason for that is, down here, this is the RCI demand. I'm not sure what RCI stands for, but it is the demand. There was only a demand for living. Thus the houses have been built in. As houses have came in, they've realised, oh wait a minute, I want somewhere to shop. Thus that's going up, and you'll start to see the shops fill in this area. And also people have decided, oh, I want somewhere to work. And now we get this flux, and you want to keep this balanced relatively well at all times. You can see cars buzzing about on our highway. That is a positive thing. And there we go. These are the first cars coming in. Houses will build before the cars actually start to come in, so don't panic. We are losing money, but again, don't panic. We've left a reserve. We will get more money. Oh, I hit the wrong thing there. We will get more money as soon as we hit 5,000 people. And as you can see, that is filling up nicely. It should hopefully fill up before this depletes to 0. And if we do get up to that milestone of 500 people, we unlock a loan. You'll also notice the more people come in, the less money we lose. And in fact, it's just ticked over there to positive, which now means we're good. We're earning money. And the reason for this is we earn money via taxes. Each citizen that comes in is paying 9% tax. So when our population was at 100, 100, generic units of currency, then there was only 100 people paying 9% of tax. Now we have 430 people paying 9% of their income on tax, which is obviously more money. Enough money to pay for more than this infrastructure costs to maintain. So for example, the maintenance cost of this coal power plant was 560 per week. 100 people weren't going to pay for that. Up to 500 people, they were going to pay for that. And now we have our milestone, our 500 population. We have only taken 9 weeks to do that, you'll see. So we have, in 9 weeks, done 50% of the first milestone here, which is get to 8,000. Presumably, if I just pressed play again, people would keep coming to the city. However, it's not guaranteed. You have to give the people a reason to want to come and stay, and you do that through extra services. I want to stress, you do not need these extra services, specifically the healthcare and the education. The education. You do need the garbage, because the people who already live here at this stage forward are going to start producing garbage. So this is the landfill site, this is the one you want to prioritise. That said, if you add in healthcare and if you add in education, you will find that it makes people happy. And if you make people happy, your city becomes more attractive to them, which means you get more demand for residential, which then, as you saw from earlier, raises the demand for the shops and the industry. So it would be beneficial to add those things in. Oh, we are playing the game, we will stop that. The other thing to bear in mind is, as you can see, if we go into our zoning, we're running out of space for industrial, and we are starting to run out of space for our residential. So we'll use the roads again. I'm using the dirt roads because they are cheaper. No other reason than that, and as far as I'm concerned, they don't penalise you in any other way. They aren't as fast as some of the tarmac roads, but they are cheap, and, well, you will see for yourself that they don't actually create much in the way of traffic jams. So, being somewhat careful with my money, I am going to expand the roads. Make sure you expand the water if you've not already filled that area in. I already have. Next, we're going to go for the garbage dealing with facility. You do get this with one of the DLCs, I think it's the green DLC. We don't need to worry about that. We will go with the landfill site because everyone will have access to it. This is part of the vanilla game. You can put this happily by your industry. Failing that, you can put it next to your dirty thing, but again, do not put this filthy polluter where people are living or where people need to get clean water from. I am going to put these in fact, I'm going to make a new road just for the garbage. I'm going to put 2 in. You don't have to, but I'm going to put 2 in. Now, I do have some money left, 17,000. I could spend that on the clinic. I could spend that on one of the 2 community school campuses. Again, this one here is the Vanilla Games campus. If you are going to put in a campus, you only really need to put it in where people are living. I forgot to put in this extra road. People in the industrial sector don't need to go to school. Sometimes you'll get them in shopping centres, but again, doesn't necessarily need to be. But residential areas are a good location for schools. Now, if you watch as I place this school down, look at all those green faces. That raises happiness, and as I said, you don't have to put in your school yet, but it will make this city more attractive. And if you're watching the camera, I've got a very itchy nose for some reason. Right. We should be able to hit play again. Oh no, I have made a mistake. Before we hit play, make sure you still tell people where they're allowed to build. Otherwise, they won't build. Can actually allow... I was going to allow the industry to go further out, but no, bugger them. We don't need them to go much further out than that. We'll go to there. Right, we'll hit play again. And again, we can go to 3 speed if we want. If we are panicking for money at this stage, we can open up this economy tab. Since we got that first milestone, we have now unlocked taxes. You can put this up if you want to. It may make your city slightly less attractive for people to come and settle here, but it will give you more profit. You'll see my profit is going up quite rapidly. The other thing you can do now is go to loans. We have unlocked the smallest loan. It will cost you money every week in order to pay it back. And you will have to pay 1,000 more than the loan originally cost. But the phrase, you need money to make money, is often shunted around, and in this game it is very much true. If you spend money, more people will come, more people will pay tax. Thus you make money. I don't think I need it. We are making 1,000, more than 1,000 per turn. And because I'm making that much money, I'm going to put in the medical clinic. That's only 400 per turn. I now have enough to cover it. But you'll see no one is complaining for medical aid. Click it down, we get the happiness burst. Lovely, lots of happy people. The industry and commercial sections do still need medical, so bear that in mind. And the green area you can see is roughly their coverage. People are happy, population is still going up. We can check our next milestone, it is on the way there. We can check goals. Oh, no, okay, I was about to panic there, but actually we don't need to. We only have 5 weeks left to do this, but we only need 76 more people. So I'm quite happy that we are going to achieve that. Let's play the game again, but we'll do it in single speed. While that's coming in, I might just draw a few more roads. Don't really like the white screen, that's why I've got a mod on. It does not change the gameplay. And I've only got one hand now because I picked up my cup of tea. How dare I? Such a bad YouTuber. I should really have called my channel Massive Cup of Tea Games. Right, oh, we're very close to that 1,000. In fact, speak of the devil, there it is. So this gives us a few extra options. Our goal is still the same though. This is now our new goal. Play 150 game weeks with a population of under 12,000. So before we had 20 weeks for 1,000, now we have 150 for 12 times that much. So 12 times as much population, but only, that is 7.5 times as much of the time. So instead of just continuing to press play, we have to make our city more attractive by adding more services and meeting more demands, etc. So if we scroll down, you'll see a few other things. The police and firehouse, they are two new services which we can use to make people happy. So we can pause the game. Once again, it is worth mentioning that police and fire are needed in all 3 different types of zoning. So if I take my commercial zoning and expand, do remember the way that I've just set this up. If I was to take my fire station and put it down here, it will not be connected with electricity. The reason we have things connected with electricity is this power line that runs down and across. And the way I set it up really close to the road means that every house and shop and industry that spawns in does reach it, providing I build it from there. If I then place a building over here, no electricity. Chances are it'll fill in and the electricity will spread to it before it becomes an issue, but bear that in mind. Where was I? I was going to put in a firehouse. We're going to put in one. We're going to use the residential area so that it can be multi-purpose. You'll see, oh yes, the happy faces reach just out to this level. Police department, we will put one in just next to it. Oh, not enough money. Let's play. We're almost at enough money. Very almost. Just get rid of that horrible white screen. And another bit of my tea while that money's coming in. Yes, I'm a glutton. An absolute glutton. we can fit in our police station now. Again, I'll zoom out just so you can see that happiness burst. You'll see it makes the industry happy, plus the commercial and the residential. That said though, if we pull up the horrible white screen again, the green does indicate the rough reach. So bear that in mind. We shall expand our roads. Remember, if you are going to expand your roads, to make sure you have piping that goes all the way out. I'm still not at the end of mine yet. It does show that you can overspend a little bit at the start, and it's not the end of the world. Now, what other goodies have we got? Nothing else yet. Nothing exciting. The other way to look at what goodies you've unlocked is you can pull up the milestone that you've just unlocked. We do have the second loan. We do have districts and policies. Unique buildings. Let's see what we've got in unique buildings. Nothing unlocked out of our landmarks. Again, some of these you might not have if you don't have all the DLC. We have a statue of wealth, a statue of shopping, and we have the city arch. Now, even though the statue of shopping is quite expensive, it's only £16 a week. Same or similar with the statue of wealth. This is only 400 a week. We can afford it weekly, it's just the upfront cost. But remember these loans? We can take them. We're making over 2,000 currency. Both of these loans together would only be 650 currency per week. So yeah, let's take them. Remember when I said you got to spend money to make money? Let's go and put in our statue of wealth. Where shall we place you? Right in the middle of our shopping district. Yes, so we'll do that. Statue of wealth. Nothing makes people too happy, but it's not quite filled in as much yet. We can also use our statue of shopping. We'll put that right next door. Few happy faces at that. And we've now got plenty more money to continue with our roads. You will see the traffic is still not an issue yet, so you do not need to worry at all about your traffic when it is such low populations. That said, a word of warning for the future, make sure that you do have a bit of space from your highway so that eventually, when you do get high traffic, you can bypass it. Or bypass the city and give them other access routes. It is also worth bearing in mind that you keep some money spare, because at some point we are going to run out of electricity. So you'll see now we're already approaching our yellow and our red. If we get into the red, that means people start complaining, hello, we don't have electricity, this city's horrible, we're going to leave. And consequently, if they leave, less people are going to come. So bear that in mind. If I need more power, it's going to cost me a lump sum of 19,000. Same goes for the water. An intake is going to cost me 2,500. But of course, the intake and the output is similar and equal, so it would cost you another 2,500 or 5,000 in total for them both. Same with the school. We're already at capacity at this school, so it's time that we put another one in. There we go. Again, notice the happy faces. Now our school capacity has jumped all the way up. And the same could be said for healthcare, although remember how I said you don't actually need to put the healthcare in at this stage. Look, sick citizens, 0. The reason this is at 0 is because no one is living in pollution. This is our pollution map. Our pollution is all at our dirty industry, a little bit of water pollution caused by our sewage output. Everyone living in this area is disease or pollution, health free, essentially. And you will notice that this healthcare is not being used. But the other side of that coin is it'll still be attracting people to the city. It's there if they need it. Fire is slightly different, whereby it just shows you a percentage of how at risk things are. I would like to raise that, so let's put another firehouse over here. That doubles our fire capacity, and you'll see as I put that in, more buildings are now turning blue. And that is basically your satisfaction with the fire service. Same with the police. As things go blue, these are the people who feel like they have been looked after by our criminal justice service. The education does work a similar way, but it takes time for a child to be educated. So even though all of these houses are being serviced by our schools, they have not yet been educated by our schools, because this game is only... Let's just get the facts. This game is only 22 weeks old. And within this 22 weeks, the people have not yet been educated enough. Although that said, you can see from our original housing, some are becoming less red, which is your indicator that they are slowly being educated to, in this example, elementary school standard. If we were to bring up the leisure screen, same. You will see that the buildings near the leisure areas are not as red as the ones further afield. As we unlock more leisure options, we need to plug those in to make everyone happy. And I think that is almost everything we are up to just now. The only one screen, well, one out of 2 screens I've not yet shown you is the budget. This is how much you are paying for all of the services currently in the town. Sometimes I put my road budget all the way down when I'm starting. That can get you some extra money if you're struggling. All it really does is lower the speed of the cars driving over it. But we chose a very low road anyway. Things work best at 100%. That is where you get the most money to outcome ratio. Although, if we looked at, for example, the water at the start, it doesn't need to be that high. It doesn't need to be as efficient. We could take our water and slam it all the way down. Okay, it's not as efficient, but it is still enough to make absolutely everybody happy. And we're going to leave it down there and show you the warnings when people run out of water. That said, folks, what we are going to do is leave this city here for this video. Please hit the subscribe buttons so you can follow up the rest of the series. Check out some of the other City Skylines videos that have already stuck down. And please, if you have enjoyed yourself, say something in the comments. We've got Tiny Town just as I'm finishing this up. That does mean we now have park areas, industrial areas, and a few more options. Parks and plazas, that's definitely a good one. So join us again next time and see how this turns out. Cheers!